Congratulations for this lovely event and for the launch of the new car. First of all, who do you think is the target audience for Polestar?
So it's a very good question, because when we launched Polestar around 2 years ago with Polestar 2, it is the sedan segment. It's a very common, especially with other electric vehicle models in the market. It was almost everyone's car in a way. So it didn't have necessarily a proper customer profile that we could put it there. But the reason why we have been always so keen on Polestar, actually Polestar 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 is coming.
Cool.
So these two SUVs and then the SUV coupe that we launch, we believe that will be obviously predominantly is looking into the premium segments in the automotive industry, is looking at the family profile, because if you sit in the rear seat, you will see that there is a huge space for the leg room as well as a huge trunk space. Also, these cars with 648 kilometer full electric range is also very appropriate for a long distance and so forth. But another thing is that in our market in UAE, 55 to 60% of our market is SUV. So with the SUV coupe, which is in between of the coupe and SUV, and then the full SUV like the Polestar 3, we are covering that one. But Polestar will always be, with the new models that we have launched, it will be carving out a premium positioning. Is a brand that is design-led, is a brand led with sustainable led and the performance led.
Yeah.
And this positioning will obviously attract customers who are willing to stand out from the crowd and go with a bit unconventional, understated brand like a Polestar, because they believe the design, the performance and the sustainability, the strategy and the execution of the brand.
Nice. Obviously, the UAE is pretty much the perfect environment with the adaptation of EVs and sustainability on the long run, but it's also a little bit competitive, especially
Yes.
with all of the brand new car launches, majorly coming the Chinese brands.
Yes.
It becomes a little bit more competitive. How do you compare it to other markets, specifically in this EV segment?
So I think I have quite a different view for the competition. I think what electric vehicle market needs anywhere in the world is competition.
Yeah.
Because if you have only few brands and you cover only few segments, then you have very little choice for a customer who are thinking to consider to switch from internal combustion engine to electric vehicle. You need to bring choice. So more choice, more option, more segment coverage. And that means that uncompromised proposition for the customer. Then for the customer who wants to switch to this technology, because it's about switching from internal combustion engine to electric vehicle technologies. And I think the competition is very healthy. It is also keeping us as the distributor and the dealer and the brand on our toes. And we learn from also from the benchmark, and it makes us also much more better. At the end of the day, also competition allows customer to win, because winning in terms of the pricing, in terms of affordability, and also another big thing what will happen very soon is like quite a big increase of the EV charging infrastructure. But when you have so many new models and the brands and the customer adoption also increase with the new tariff implementation of in Dubai through DIVA and then allowing the private market to enter the market, you will see that everything comes together and that this is where the exponential growth will happen. So to me, the competition is not necessarily with EV. Competition is actually still with internal combustion engine and the legacy brands.
True. Of course, there are lots of still awareness that needs to be done on the EV segment and so on. You've mentioned Polestar 5 and 6.
Yes.
Are there any expected dates next year?
So we are looking for Polestar 5 most probably towards the end of the next year.
Okay.
And Polestar 6 we are looking at 2026. For Polestar 6, actually, like the funny story is, when we launched electric mobility company, my first project was Polestar 6. because there was a special edition, because Polestar 6 is a really high-end sports roadster concept, and only 500 units exclusively produced. So when Polestar came to us and said that if you want to reserve your order, you need to order now. And we didn't know, we didn't even start the launch. We just like in the early days of Polestar 2, and they were asking us fast forward and order Polestar 6, that we have no clue about it. But when we see the car and the premises, it was unbelievable, and we immediately get 10% of the global production allocation for UAE, so 50 units for these cars. And we had done 2 events only. It wasn't a public event like this. It was a very discreet and VVVIP event, and almost secretive event, because the car wasn't launched properly. And in 2 events, I think both events took 45 minutes. In 2 events, we sold out all 50.
Wow.
So
amazing.
that is exactly coming to your point, is that UAE is incredible markets. Globally, it's not that big. If you think about the big markets like China, US, or big European markets. But because of the population and then the customer profile in every segment, as well as the top of the segment as well, that they can afford this kind of stuff, who values exclusivity and being the first of it, that was an interesting one. So therefore for us, Polestar full portfolio in the first half of the 2026 will be completed. But when it comes to volume, when it comes to the cars that on the road that will be the highest, this will be our Polestar 4 and Polestar 3. In fact, Polestar 4, our expectation is will be our most sold cars, because of the price points, still in premium, but in an affordable way. It starts in 235,000 dirham. It goes to 299,000. But it has all the specification standards that you expect from not a premium car, but a luxury car. So I think they believe that with this price point, with this SUV coupe concept, it will be the most sold car.
Amazing. A lot of the surveys we do on Dubi cars, we try to sense a little bit the feedback from the consumers. And we still face, or we still see in the surveys that we do, that consumers still have some level of anxiety towards EVs. For example, they're still a little bit afraid on the range, on the battery lifetime. So what are some of maybe the after-sale services or the guarantees that you provide for the consumer to ease up a little bit these concerns?
So first of all, I think for the battery, I think it's about the warranty. So our cars has 8 years warranty, 150,000 kilometers, and for Polestar is the 175,000 kilometers. So in this time of the battery, and this is the consumer should also compare with the internal combustion engine of an engine, engine of the internal combustion engine vehicle, then this is like typically is 3 years. So we are talking about the battery warranty of 8 years. So it's almost 3 times higher than what actually a typical customer who has bought multiple cars and multiple experience with it. I understand the main issues coming because of the lack of experience with it. But this warranty is definitely there. It is not a fake warranty. It's like no question asked, battery replacement, battery repair. We have invested a lot on our training and then the after sales capabilities. We coupled up even with the world's golden standard of the EV training and the battery knowledge institution of IMI from UK. We go for the up to level 4 training for our master technicians and the technicians to make sure that their high voltage battery, because in fact it is we call this electric vehicle is the smartphone on wheels, right? If you are sitting on a high voltage battery, it may sound dangerous, but it is obviously technology had advanced so much, there is no issue with that. So with regards to range anxiety, I think the battery technologies has moved so much, and therefore you can see the cars like Polestar 4 bringing 635 kilometer range. So 635 kilometer range, so or any range above 500 or above 600, we should put the things into perspective. On average, in UAE consumer, I'm sure that we have your own surveys as well, is driving around 65 to 70 kilometers a day. What is 65 to 70? It is driving to work, driving to school, the shopping. It's like during the weekdays stuff. Obviously, in the weekend, it could be more.
You could do a road trip or something,
yes, exactly. So, of course, there are people who are traveling between Emirates as well, but they are not necessarily always the majority of this sample size. So, if you are thinking about above 500, above 600, and like Polestar 4, then you are thinking about you can use the car around 9 or 10 days without charging.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's
this is in a 1 month you are thinking about if you charge 3 times, you can cover a month.
Yeah.
It's very similar to a fuel station when you drive an internal combustion engine car, and this is the time that you would go. The performance of the batteries and then the mileage, it will definitely offset this anxiety.
I can imagine. You've mentioned trade-in. I know it's a little bit early to speak about trade-in if somebody wants to return their Polestar, but I think some of the also main concerns of consumers is depreciating the price of the vehicle over time. Is this something that you've thought of in terms of how are you going to tackle this in the future?
Yeah, I think few things, right? So when we have our own leasing products, that we sell to consumers. So in the leasing product, we basically guarantee the future value. So because at the end of the lease contract, 2 years, 3 years, the customers return the car and they do not have any liability with the residual value the changes in the car. So I think we understand that for the customer, this is a big issue if they buy cash.
Yeah.
But through financing solutions, through leasing solutions, it is an important one. Obviously, for us, the most important thing is that when we started our leasing program, we had also like very short-term lease, like a 1-year lease and so forth. But we are currently doing more the longer-term lease, because what is happening is that due to the uncertainty of the residual value of the electric vehicle in a short term, there is a significantly better view because you mentioned as well, there are more models, more sales will happen. So the markets and unit in operation, where is today versus 3 years, it will be completely different than today. 100%. So the view in 3 years much easier than actually the view of 1 year. And especially all the electric vehicles are coming. So this is the reason that we believe that when it comes to resale value, we had our trading options. Even there are so many things that you can do with the cars. When we ask in our surveys, when we have the customers that what they would look from a used electric vehicles, is that the number one thing that they said they would like to see how their battery health situation is. Like what is the remaining capacity of the battery of this. So this is the reason that we have partnered with one of a very innovative European company that in Polestar, for, as we call it, certified pre-owned, every car will come with a third party, not us, a third party, a battery health score. So the customer will have almost like a doctor report about the battery, where the battery is, where is the health is, what is the longevity, and how the battery was used. I think this kind of transparencies will help people, this car, the battery is gonna work, if I buy this car, is the battery is really can help me. Again, this will really help. But it's obviously we are now in the new car sales of the electric vehicle. We will very soon go into used car, but this kind of innovative thinking is required to give the confidence to the customer.
Absolutely. Amazing. My last question. We've seen now Al-Futtaim partnering with Polestar, previously with BYD, and like obviously the organization is taking massive steps towards sustainability, which is excellent. Noting that we're in the UAE and there's a massive adaptation for this aspect. Are there any other future partnerships that you're looking for?
Of course. I mean, this right now, the entire automotive industry is so fluid is you can never stand still and you say that this is enough that I am doing, I'm not going to do much. The way that we are looking at this one is a portfolio.
Yeah.
We do not want to have more brands in our portfolio for the sake of it,
Yeah.
but we should have the brands and the mobility solutions and the services that has an incremental proposition to the customer.
Yeah.
So we can cater more of the market. So this is, for instance, you mentioned BYD and Polestar. So Polestar and the positioning of Polestar, which is a performance and premium full electric, versus BYD, more the accessible electric and the plug-in technology, actually they are not competing with each other.
100%.
They are actually attracting in a different part of the segment. So this is the reason we built this electric mobility company, that we want to also go into electric motorcycles.
Yeah.
For instance, this is another part of the segment.
Okay.
And we want to look into electric vans, and there's another part of the segment,
Yeah.
electric pickups and so forth. So this is the way that we would do it,
Okay.
not necessarily brand by brand, but what the brand is focusing on and how does it make sense for our portfolio. Because otherwise, like, it makes no business sense for us just to add similar brands competing for the same customers. It is just not good for the business, not good for the customers in that regard. But things are changing a lot, and I think it will keep on changing because there are many new entries. Some will be successful, some will not be successful. And will we go back in the market as well and looking for some more distributor and so forth? It will be definitely, I think, but we know that there is no going back. The future will be like this. No one knows who will be the winner of this future. What we believe that these brands that we are putting together with the Al-Futtaim investments of the ecosystem is the right way to do success.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time. It was a very insightful session. And congratulations again on the launch of the Polestar 4. And we're looking forward to see what you guys are going to bring for the future for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.